Guys, it's Margie, and today I'm doing a massive movie review of the 1993 film Schindler's List. Now, if you've seen my previous review of Lincoln, hopefully this one's not going to be that long, but I make no guarantees. Obviously, you already know how long it is, but I don't, so if it's massive, I apologize, but I just have so much that I have to say and can't leave out. This film starred, I'm sure you already know, but I have to read them off, Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes, Ben Kingsley, Caroline Goodall, Jonathan Segal, Embeth Davidtz, Malgorzata Gabel, Shum Livy, Mark Ivanor, Beatrice Mokola, Frederick von Thun, Christoph Luft, Harry Neering, Norbert Weiser, Addie Nitzan, Michael Schneider, Mary Fabian, Anna Muka, Albert Mizak, and Michael Gordon. I'm sure I just butchered every last one of those names, and I do apologize. Directed by Mr. Steven Spielberg, music by Mr. John Williams. That's just what I do when I say John Williams. I just smile for a minute. I'm sorry. Edited by Michael Kahn, who also edited Jurassic Park, Lincoln, The Terminal, and Munich. So needless to say, he loves working with Steven. Cinematography by Janusz Kaminski. I cannot say that to save my life. He works with Steven all the time. Also did cinematography for Saving Private Ryan, Minority Report, and Lincoln. Screenplay by Steven Zaland, who also did the screenplay for Moneyball and Gangs of New York. Produced by Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, Branko Lustig, who also produced Gladiator, Gerald R. Molen, who also produced Rain Man, Minority Report, and Jurassic Park, and Lou Ryland, who also produced The Pianist. Okay, guys, so the basic plot for this movie is not really a plot. It's just more like what the film is about, and this film is about basically, it's about Germany and Hitler and the Nazis and how they treated the Jews and the Holocaust and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But it's the story of Schindler, you know, of course, Mr. Schindler, who had that list, that infamous list that he would get people put on to that would be spared, the Jews would be spared if they were on his list because they were considered working for the war. So everybody wanted to be, of course, on Schindler's list so that their lives would be saved. And he saved hundreds and hundreds of Jews through, you know, that list and through buying and trading, and just like he would, you know, bribe government officials and everything to save all of these Jewish people. So anyway, that's basically the story. Let's jump into performances for this one, though, guys. Liam Neeson plays Mr. Schindler. I thought he had a great performance. There was, on the whole, I mean, his performance was very good, very believable, very intense. I wish he would have made the character a little more likable, but that's just me. And there was one scene at the end where, or it was closer to the end, where he is supposed to be extremely depressed and all of this, and he's kind of like, you know, going crazy. Like, he's really amped up, and he's just kind of like sad, and he's like angry and all this. And I didn't feel like he capitalized on that quite enough. I would have loved to have seen a good cry. And I know you guys are like, what's up with you wanting to see the good cries? Because I mentioned this in so many previous reviews. There's nothing like a legitimate bawl. I've said it before, I'll say it again. And he didn't get there for me. So I would have loved to have seen him just crushed it for that. Ralph Fiennes was nominated for an Oscar for this role. And he had a very good performance. It did not blow me away. But I thought it was good, and I thought, you know, if he had been weaker, it would have been very noticeable. So I thought he was very solid and did a great job. Ben Kingsley crushed it. I thought he did absolutely everything he could have done, and his performance was great. Everybody else that I mentioned, guys, I'm not going to go through all their names again. There are some really, really lovely performances here. And this is kind of directing, and this is kind of, you know, just like people in general. And I do not know the name of the man that acted this, but he did so brilliantly, I just have to mention him. There is one scene where Ralph Fiennes plays like one of the Nazi people, and he's at a concentration camp, and he finds this guy that he doesn't think is doing enough work, so he's planning to kill him in front of some of his other officers as kind of a demonstration. So he takes a gun from one of them, and he puts it he has the guy kneel down, he puts it to his head, which I know this sounds really violent, but I'm trying to tell you how killer the performance was from the guy that was kneeling down. He puts the gun to his head, and it doesn't go off. And it clicks, it's empty, and the guy's like, the terror on his face is amazing. And I do not know if I can find out what his name was. I'll put it right here, because he literally crushed it. And he was just like, oh, and then the gun clicks, and he just like jumps a mile. And anyway, of course, he's not dead. So Ralph Fiennes gets so angry, and he starts like getting guns from all the other officers and trying to kill this guy, and none of them will fire. Oh my gosh, so he gets this one gun, and he's so mad, and he just starts like, bam, 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 trying to fire, and it will not fire, and he just gets closer and closer and closer to the guy's head, and the gun goes click, 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 and with each click of the gun, the actor would just almost die, because he thought this is going to be it, and then it would click, and he wouldn't die, and then he'd think this is going to be it. I mean, it was killer. It was so beautiful, and that was directing and writing, and that was probably my favorite scene from the movie, because it was so well done, and it was very gripping and very powerful, especially with that actor. That actor could not have done any better. He crushed it. Again, if I can find out who he is, I think that was the only scene that one of like 2 or 3 scenes that he did, so it may be hard to locate him, but if I can find out who he is, I'll put him right here. So anyway, let's jump on to directing, though, by Steven Spielberg. I loved the directing for this. Of course, it's Steven, but I really liked a lot of the direction. I would have shortened the movie because I felt like there were things you could have left out, and I think a lot of that's editing, but yes, I would have cut several scenes, but the scenes were so brilliantly directed. The camera placement was great, and just like he did in Lincoln, I absolutely love how the camera follows the characters from behind and keeps them faceless before introducing them. That's basically like, like say you're the viewer. If I were to turn around, then I would be talking like facing this way, and you wouldn't know who I was, and you'd be seeing me from behind. I love that, and apparently, obviously Steven did that in Lincoln too. Crushed it. I absolutely love that. Or maybe that's cinematography. I don't know. I think it's probably directing though. Anyway, love that. The directing for this was so great, and the images in this film are so gripping. So many of them are like, okay, one of the things is like the Nazis would tell the Jews, leave your suitcase here and write your name on it, and we'll send it to you wherever, we're sending you. Well, then they would take the suitcase, and the camera follows the suitcase down this conveyor belt, and it follows like the process the suitcase goes through, which is it's opened up, it's removed of all of its valuables, and the clothes are thrown onto this heaping huge pile of clothes, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is so gripping.